Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. You will be seeing this video on August 6th. For any of you who are interested, I did release a shorter video yesterday on Thursday titled A Canada, and it's just a look at sort of, what's going on in Canada and specifically Alberta and Ontario because those two provinces just need to be watched, frankly. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Today I want to take it, and before I get there, thank you so much. Thank you for the support, the comments, the likes, the lovely compliments you pay me. Thank you. They're all appreciated, and I just really enjoy that the Soulprint community remains strong, and we just continue moving forward as best we can together through these kind of difficult times. So today I wanted to take a look at kind of, this video is going to be called Bit Players, because that's kind of what I see them as, these people who kind of, are around, playing their roles, doing their thing. You're not quite sure what exactly is motivating them, what's going on behind the scenes that causes some of these people to make the decisions and the choices they've made. So I'm hoping to blast kind of through several of them. So they're going to be shorter, but there's going to be a few. Okay, I want to start. In case you guys haven't seen this. So there was a lawsuit filed in Colorado by, the Trump contingency. And there was 18 defendants, including, good golly, one of the big, I think it was Facebook, but anyways, claiming basically this huge conspiracy that was, created to, steal the election away. And so yesterday, the judge said, I paraphrase, this is really stupid. You shouldn't have been suing for this. And to make sure you understand how stupid it was, you two lawyers, you need to pay all of the costs incurred by all 18 defendants. Now, I don't know if it was Facebook or it was Twitter or whoever it was, but can you just imagine the kind of lawyers they have and what those lawyers must charge an hour, like billable hours? Oh my God. So anyway, so that's the kind of thing that we're starting to see. And that's really good news, except probably for those lawyers who are going to be, on the hook for, I'm sure, millions and millions of dollars because they were stupid enough and foolish enough to file a lawsuit that somewhere they must have known was never going to fly. But, you're seeing that. You've got the Department of Justice saying, no, what that behavior, that was not part of your job. And so we're not going to defend you. We're not going to help you. So there's just a lot. And sometimes some of it slips by, but there's a lot going on right now. And it feels very much like glass that is just breaking and breaking, cracking and cracking. And eventually it's not going to be able to hold together. Okay, let's take a look, please, shall we? How about we start with Jim Jordan, shall we? So he didn't get to be part of the committee because, he got put in there because, he was going to be, a disruptive force. And Pelosi kind of said, yeah, I don't think so. You don't get to play at this party. So let's see how he's doing. Tell me about Jim Jordan. Tell me about Jim Jordan. Tell me about Jim Jordan. Come on down. I have a question. Here we go. Whoops. Okay, this one went flying out. Okay, so we're starting with the star card. Let's see how that fits into what we're going to find. Oh boy. Okay, so the way I'm reading this is whatever promise he had, whatever promises were made to him, whatever he thought he was going to be able to spring off of and sort of solidify himself, make himself stronger, whatever it was, those dreams are crumbling literally before his eyes. His bombastic attitude and behavior is getting old and it's getting tiring, and people are kind of getting a little done with it. And I'm talking about people within his party, actually, who already, publicly is one thing, but what's going on privately is they really want all the noise to get toned down, and it's not. And so there really is a sense that he is actually starting to figure out that maybe he pushed in the wrong direction. And maybe the way he pushed is actually not going to bring him the kind of success he thought it would. There is also, it looks like, there is stuff that went on behind the scenes, and whether this was, donations that were made, whether, I don't know what it is, but there's money. It's always about money with what's going on now. But there's definitely, it looks like some information that's going to be coming out about something to do with finances, his finances, political finances, but he's going to be actually in for, it doesn't look good for him. And he's really not going to be able to see his way clear because, we've gotten used to politicians who can't be shamed. We've gotten used to politicians who scream up and down, it's white, and then 3 days later, scream up and down, it's red, right? It's just craziness. We've gotten so used to that, we're almost numb to it. But whatever happens here, it looks like he's actually going to pay a rather significant price. I don't, yeah, he's in trouble, okay? I don't know what this looks like, but it definitely looks like he's going to have, it looks like a bit of a rough ride as we go forward, whether that is connected to what the committee is investigating, whether it is something that goes on within his home state that he is implicated in or has to explain. I don't know, but I can tell you that the road ahead for him appears to be really quite turbulent, and it really feels as if it is going to cause him to have to really, really evaluate what he frankly needs to walk away from. So unfortunately, he is, it looks like he's in for a rough ride. And I mean, I don't know, is it possible that between now and, I don't know, the next year, that he may find himself in a place where he really continues to support and defend what is unsupportable and undefensible, indefensible, sorry, or is are we going to see him starting to pull away a little bit and trying to separate himself? I know it's going to be a hard one. But he definitely got, kind of put on his leash in terms of not being allowed to play in that committee. Speaking of which, let's just take a look at Kevin McCarthy. Because, what is his story? I mean, this guy does not exactly strike me as somebody who is particularly strategically brilliant. Here we go. Tell me about Kevin McCarthy. Tell me about Kevin McCarthy. Tell me about Kevin McCarthy. Okay, he definitely has a couple of I don't want to go so far as to say tricks up his sleeve, because in the ace cards are both sort of being read as if they're being reversed. So what you have is somebody who feels more secure about the position they're in than honestly they should. And in some ways, he is trying to, how can I say this? It feels as if he's trying to benefit from the strategic abilities of the minority leader of the Senate. But he's not smart enough. And so he finds himself in a place where his power, his authority is really, really coming to a close. And as a result, you're going to see more sort of sharp-tempered comments from him. He's kind of losing his cool a little bit, you know. He's, I guess he didn't like it when he got called a moron. I don't know. But you're going to see sort of more snappish comebacks and that kind of thing. He's not going to handle the pressure well, is what I'm trying to say. But he has enough ego that he's going to think he can handle it. And he's going to think if he just talks enough. And he doesn't understand that the more he talks, the worse he makes it for himself, because there isn't a fluidity to his thoughts. And so he ends up coming across as a little bit foolish and scattered, and sort of like not being able to follow, you know, a trail of breadcrumbs, right? To get a conversation out or a statement out. He's starting to feel the pressure. And he's starting actually to worry about maybe how, you know, this is what's happening. And I think it's going to be happening with a lot of these politicians. As that other guy loses power, and he is, right? I mean, people aren't buying tickets to his rallies. You know, he's cut off of most social media. As he continues to sort of lose power, there's going to be people who really are going to start to wonder if that close alliance to him is actually going to end up serving them. The problem is they're already sort of hip deep in the quicksand, and they're not going to be able to figure out how to extract themselves without, you know, bringing on the wrath of the toddler. And so you got a lot of people who are kind of stuck, and frankly, you know, karma comes back faster and faster these days. I don't actually know why they should be so surprised. And, you know, this is the thing, okay? Like, this card is often read about, you know, like a celebration, whatever. It can also be, though, a reflection of like overindulging. And I have the feeling that there may be a little bit too much of trying to relieve the pressure, maybe having an extra drink or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if the guy drinks, but it feels like there's sort of going to be some attempts to kind of push away some of the pressure, and I don't see it serving him. In fact, I see it actually causing problems for him, and I don't know. I can't really say much more because I don't know. Honestly, enough about the energy that I'm receiving to be able to sort of really interpret it with clarity, but it definitely looks like there's a setback coming for him. And, he's not somebody who wants to look too deeply. I don't know. Is it possible that he may get sick and has to, sort of remove himself from the scene for a little bit? I don't know. But it just feels as if he's got a very difficult road ahead of him, and one where it seems to be that it's going to end up taking a toll on his physical health, his mental health, emotional health. I don't know. But there's definitely a setback coming for him. And I think that realistically at this point, any illusions or dreams he had about becoming, Speaker of the House, I think he is starting to perhaps recognize that that may not continue to be in the cards for him. Because this is what happens, right? You're going to get that core group of people who are not going to budge. They're not going to change their thinking. But more and more people are going to be kind of going, this isn't so good, right? How did I get that duped? So, some of the very people that they were still hoping would support them, it feels like actually they may not continue to get that support. Let's take a look at Lauren Boebert. I think I've said that correctly. I got to tell you, I can't even tell you what state she represents. Tell me about Lauren Boebert. Tell me about Lauren Boebert. Tell me about Lauren Boebert. Okay, so privately and quietly, she's actually doing some assessing. This is what's so sort of, I guess, maybe entertaining for those of us on the outside looking in, is more and more as I'm looking at the cards and I step into their energy, it's almost like they have like split personalities, right? It's like they're one persona in public, but when they're not in public, they're scared. They're worried about information coming out that is not going to reflect well on them. They're trying to assess the actual situation they're in now. And, I think that she's going to discover that she's not going to end up as safe and secure or as solid politically as she thinks she is or thinks that she should be. There's going to be something coming out about money, funds, and it's going to cause her to have to really evaluate. She's too closely aligned, right? She's too closely aligned to him. And so in some ways, she is one of those people who ultimately is going to take the fall. Ultimately, that alliance is going to end up working against her. So that doesn't appear to be particularly good news for her. Yeah, no, look, she's out in the cold. She's going to have big problems. She likes to think that she's powerful and strong and in control. She's not any of that. She is a little bit out of control. She's scared. And she really, I'm sorry, this doesn't look like she has any political savvy in which to be able to successfully spin situations so that she ends up, not looking kind of as bad as she potentially could. Okay, that's her. Okay, I want to take a look at the Canadian reading that I did that was released yesterday. I looked at the two premiers in the country who most want to be like that toddler. And, really are the two provinces that are actually having, more issues with a lot of stuff than some of the other ones. Okay, so and it was Alberta and Ontario. So this is the thing. Alberta is often referred to as, the Canadian version of Texas. And so I think I'll start with Governor Abbott, and then I want to look at DeSantis because honestly, he's a piece of work, that guy. But let's take a look because those are two governors who are really pushing back, and they don't have any intelligent, clever things to say, and so they make statements that doesn't make any sense, and they're illogical, and you hear it, but your brain can't make sense of what you actually just heard because there's no logic or rationale to be found. Let's take a look at Governor Abbott. Tell me about Abbott. Tell me about Abbott. Tell me about Abbott. I'm only giving him the title of governor because honestly, in this moment, I can't remember his first name, but I'm not exactly sure that he deserves the title. Interesting. Okay, so he is just sort of focused. He is focused on trying to keep things stable and level. And it's not working very well for him because he's at this point, he's really not able to sort of really change the subject. This is, and I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm going to try to be delicate, but the reality is that the vast majority of people who are getting sick right now are people who consciously and deliberately made a decision not to take the precautions that, a little shot in the arm would have provided. And I think slowly but surely, some of these politicians are going, wait a minute. They're the ones who are getting sick. They're getting really sick. Like, not only is that creating a problem for my state in terms of, healthcare situations, but is it possible that we're actually hurting or eliminating our actual voters, the ones who vote with us? And those people, it's an interesting thing. It was like it doesn't matter who was a staunch ally and then got sick and then says, oh my God, don't do what I did. Don't make the same mistake. Go, get yourself protected. Other people of like minds don't seem to respond to that. And so, unfortunately, what you're going to get is you're going to get these pockets of people who get really, really sick. And it's going to be the people around them who start to raise, the red flags and go, wait a minute, this doesn't adding up. Because it feels very much like unless it happens within your circle, it's getting dismissed. And that's part of the reason why there's a problem, because it doesn't seem to matter how many anecdotal stories get told. They're not being sort of absorbed. And what is happening is he is not going to be able to continue to flip the narrative as more and more people get sick, and then more and more circles, so family, friends, right, coworkers, start to realize the results. So it feels very much like he's going to have some trouble going forward. He's going to try to sort of strong arm some stuff through, and frankly, I don't see it being beneficial to him. And it's interesting because this card is actually, often it's about, money changing hands, etc. But this actually feels more like a financial problem kind of issue here. And again, whether that is, political money in terms of donations, etc., or some other problems in terms of assets, but there's just a feeling as if there's some sort of pressure that we don't know about, we're not privy to yet, that has to do with finances. And, he's not going to get the support that he foolishly still thinks he has. And ultimately, he's going to end up, not in a great place and frankly being really, really harshly judged. Really harshly judged. Because there comes a point where you can't keep endangering your citizens and think that people aren't at some point going to wake up and smell the coffee burning on the stove, okay? So it doesn't look, I can't see sort of long term with him. It feels more like this is going to be, kind of 6-8 months. He's really going to have some fires to put out, as it were. All right, let's move on to DeSantis. So, he went from Biden's this great president because he sent all of this relief our way when buildings were collapsing, to I don't want to hear a peep out of you or a blip out of you, I think was what he said, until you fix the border, except the question was about him not putting restrictions in place that need to be put in place to keep people safe. So you know what I mean? It's like he jumped to the, I don't know, is that like a Republican talking point or something? But it was sort of like somebody said to him, the grass really needs to be cut. And he said, well, yeah, and the lasagna didn't taste good either. You can't make sense of it. I swear, the good people of Florida, and I get that there's a lot of people in Florida who think he's like amazing, but the good people of Florida, I swear, their heads must just rotate and spin. Like, I don't know how they're not all walking around with like heightened blood pressure, just having this bozo kind of representing them, in my humble opinion. Let's take a look, shall we? Last one, here we go. Tell me about DeSantis, tell me about DeSantis, tell me about DeSantis. Money, money, money. Oh boy, he's scared. Part of what you're seeing, part of this almost illogical pushback that's going on, is he is scared. There is something that he is really concerned is going to come to light, having to do with, it's money, but I almost want to say donations. And I don't know where the donations were coming from, who they were coming from, or where they were going. But there's something connected to money, and this is going to break fairly soon, and the exposure is going to be really, really hard on him. There is going to be a lot of like really defensive behavior. There's going to be the stupid, snappy comments that don't make any sense. But it feels very much like he is starting to recognize that in some ways he really is fighting for his life politically, and he doesn't have the answers. And this is the thing about him: he doesn't speak well. Like he's not eloquent. He's not riveting to listen to, um, and so his words, as a result, don't have as much impact because, frankly, there's no fluidity to the way he speaks. There's no rhythm to it. And that's actually going to end up hurting him when he has to explain some stuff that he would really, really, really rather not explain. I have to tell you, Matt Gates's face is popping into my head. I don't know what that's about, but there's something going on in Florida having to do with money, and he is going to find himself almost completely unable to defend himself against it, and worse, really feeling like as if he may not have a kind of a graceful way out. Oh yeah, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. You've got the devil, the hermit, and death. No, he's not going to die, but definitely his career appears to be coming to a place where he's going to take some sort of a hit. Information coming out, stories being released. I don't know what it is, but it's really not going to put him in a good light. And it's really, really going to create kind of the writing on the wall kind of change. And, that's part of it, right? Is a lot of these people continue to play ball because, they think that if the toddler doesn't run in 2024, they've got a great shot. What you're going to see between now and I want to say March, April of 2022 is a lot of those people who behave the way they behave because they believed that they had a shot are actually going to find their careers starting to crumble. Now, does that mean every one of them is going to crumble and nobody's going to be impacted? And again, I can't tell you. I don't know when the governors get elected. I think they're in 6-year terms. But what I'm saying is you've got a situation where people are going to start seeing those sort of dreams, like literally falling through their hands like sand. And so I don't know what his story is. I don't know what's going on with him. But wow, it really, really doesn't look good. And it looks like there are legal implications, and justice is coming for him. Oi, oi. And the Ten of Swords. Well, I guess we're going to want to be finding out what that's about, because it definitely doesn't look good for him. Okay, so that's what I know this week. Thank you so much for being here, for the support, all of it. It's wonderful. To my new subscribers, thank you so much. And to the donors, wow, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate you letting me know that you like and enjoy what I do. So thank you very, very much. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.